Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of The Emerging Artist. I am really delighted today because it's so sunny here in London, and I'm delighted because that's not an often phenomenon. Although I must admit this winter has been particularly sunny, so it makes me feel really good, and I'm going to be talking about a really emotional topic, but I'm going to have this very upbeat mood because that's who I am and that's how I connect to the weather. And I hope the sun is shining wherever you are. And if it's not happening outside, I hope you have a little sun inside you that's shining for you. As always, thank you so much for being here, for supporting me, for sending me your messages and your feedback. Keep those messages coming because they help me choose topics for next episodes, and they also really encourage me to continue because you know how hard it is to work on a personal project as a freelancer, and I really wanted to say that you are helping me so much to continue and to grow and to progress in this journey. So thank you once again. As I said, today's topic is going to be maybe a bit difficult or challenging for some people, myself included. So I'm going to be talking about the multiple times that I've wanted to quit being an artist, to quit being a freelancer, to just quit working in this industry because it's been so challenging. But I want to leave you with a positive message. And as always, I want to offer you my perspective in case you find it useful, you find some value in it, and in case it helps you think about this a little bit differently. So let's get into today's topic. How many times have I said, I'm just gonna quit? And I'm talking specifically about I'm gonna quit trying to be an artist, or that's what I was telling myself, but actually I think what I meant was I'm gonna stop trying to have a place in this industry. And I think that is so hurtful and unfair, but we're gonna get into my analysis and my interpretation of my statement, I wanna quit. How many times have I said that throughout my career? Well, I can remember off the top of my head at least 2 or 3 times. So the first time, for sure, was when I moved to the UK, and I moved here. I studied MFA choreography at Trinity Laban, and after that, so postgraduate, I was so lost. And I know it's so common with master students and with students in general. When you just graduate, you don't really know what's going on, and some universities and some countries are particularly notorious about not connecting your degree to the industry. So you feel like you've learned so much, you feel really equipped, and you feel like your practice has evolved and expanded so much. But actually, you know nothing about running a business, you know nothing about how to network, you don't have the skills necessary to run yourself as a business or to evolve and progress in finance and in operations, and having like all these skills that are so useful and that go side by side with the artistic practice. Otherwise, you're just spending very valuable time perfecting your craft, but you have no way of surviving. And that is really crucial, and that's something I wish I knew when I was in my degree and when I was just graduating, because I had to learn the hard way. So I think in this postgraduate phase, definitely there was a part of me thinking that I don't know how the system in the UK works, because yes, the industry is similar, but actually the system and how it works is quite different from Greece. So not only did I have to navigate a new system, I had to learn the skills that I needed. Well, before that, I had to identify which skills I was missing. And that took a long time. I had no idea about what a business plan is. I didn't know that business plans existed to begin with. How embarrassing is that? I didn't know about bookkeeping and about why I should be networking or how I should be networking. And it's just, I'm thinking back at this now and I'm like, who are you? Like, why? But anyway, this is not the point. And the point is not to blame anyone and not to point any fingers, but the point is it takes time to identify what things we're missing. But because I was missing these skills and this knowledge, I really felt that I'm not equipped enough and that I don't have the capacity or the knowledge of how to move forward. Because when I kind of know what I need to do, I go on and do it. There's no doubt about it for me. I really like to take action, but it's really hard sometimes to go past that phase of I'm lost, I don't know what to do, I don't know who to talk to, I don't know what things I need in place, I don't know what to go from there. So if this is you and if you're in that phase, I think the best thing to do is to talk to people about the challenges that you're facing. And even if you don't have the solution, even if you don't really know who is the best person to talk to, by just discussing them with different people, someone will come up with an idea and someone will know. I guarantee you that. And this is how I got myself out of that rabbit hole of, I'm lost. I don't know. I'm going to quit. Because I didn't really want to quit. I just didn't know what to do. The second time that I said I want to quit this industry was during lockdown and actually the phase just after that. So post-pandemic, obviously this is a massive, massive challenge for every single person. And I acknowledge that to some, it's been just a life-changing moment because they love someone and it's had a really serious impact on their own health and the way they socialize and the way they live. So having said that, the industry has suffered so much, and like the arts and performing arts has suffered so much. There's less funding, there's less opportunities. I think people value the arts a lot, but it's not compensated enough so that many of us can survive on this. And I had a really, really hard time dealing with this and like managing all my emotions around it and kind of navigating that space afterwards, spending lockdown in Greece, coming back to the UK after that with literally nothing, no prospects, no house, like nothing, nowhere to stay. And it was a really, really hard time. And I think it's left a lot of trauma in me around that. And it's made me feel some emotions of definitely anger, definitely like desperation, disappointment, exhaustion, all these deep and difficult emotions. And I feel like I'm only beginning to untangle them at the moment and to understand the impact that they've had on me and my choices and my career. But this is the second time that I remember that I said, I just don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to be part of this industry. It's hurt me so much. But by the time I said it's hurt me so much, I was able to understand that, again, it's not really something I want to do, to quit, but it's it's circumstantial. It's because this and this and this happened. So as many other artists like me and freelancers, like we've been pushed outside of this space because we cannot cover our very basic needs, and not because we don't love what we do, not because we're not dedicated enough, not because we want to have it easy and, we just rather not struggle. And since then, I have to say, my relationship with myself, with the industry, with my practice has changed so much, and it's continuing to evolve. And I'm continuing to try to understand and unpack that relationship, as well as how much it's been influenced by what's happening in the world and these major life changes and this major historical changes that I've just mentioned. At the end of the day, for me, it's not about how much you want to quit or why you want to quit, but it's about, if you don't really, is how you pick yourself up and how you continue your journey no matter what, and how you look after yourself within the whole process. And this is why I think resilience is one of my favorite words, and it's one of my favorite human qualities, because it shows that want and willingness and strength to survive and to grow despite challenges and despite difficulties. I talked about my relationship with the industry and my relationship with the craft, so dance or performing arts, performance, and I wanted to now move on to you. And if you feel like you're just overwhelmed with everything, you can't survive, you can't see yourself in this industry thriving, and you really struggle with that thought, I want you to know that you're not alone in this, and that I have felt this many times, and not just the 2 times that I mentioned. And I'm sure at some point I will feel like this again. So it's just something to keep in mind, that it's not new and it's not you. That was a very unintended rhyme there. But what I wanted to share with you now is maybe offer you a different perspective on how to think about it, how to frame it for yourself, so that maybe you feel less guilty about it, you feel less like maybe that you're not doing something right, and you empower yourself to make this your choice rather than something that happens in spite of you or to you. First thing I would do if I have this feeling of I want to quit is look at and recognize where this is coming from. As I mentioned before, I recognize that a lot of the times when I've said this, I was really struggling due to external reasons. Not once did this phrase come from me and my wants. It came out of necessity because I was burned out. So it came out of fatigue. I couldn't face like thinking even creatively or thinking about concepts or even moving. I spent a long time not moving and still consider myself to be a dancer and a choreographer. I spent a lot of time out of the studio because I could not find the motivation to move, and I didn't want to. But after feeling guilty for a long time, I'm not saying I'm perfect, I then allowed myself to experience that, to just prove to myself that it's okay. So burnout is, I would say, number one reason why somebody might say, I quit. The other thing is maybe fear of failure. Maybe we have this crazy ideas in our head, and it comes together with social pressures, I think. So if you feel like by the age like 20 or 30 or whatever, which is something I hate, by the way, like putting numbers and age into like our achievements and our milestones. If you have been brought up by this, like, oh, by the age of 30, I want to be a famous whatever, I want to have gotten this award, I want to have exhibited in this gallery, and you haven't because of external reasons, then I understand how this might trigger thoughts of failure and, oh, if I haven't done this like now, then I might as well quit because I'm never gonna get there because I'm past that age or I'm past that phase in my life. So this might come because of failure and maybe imposter syndrome, which I talk about on a different episode. I'm gonna link it and tab it so you can watch. And then obviously the most important thing, I say important thing for everything, but I really think that it's fundamental. And I think both of the times that I really wanted to just stop being part of this industry was both because of survival reasons. Like, I didn't have income, I didn't have anywhere to stay. It was incredibly difficult to survive and to like continue to live in this city and in this country. And so without a source of income and without the basics, without the very basic human needs, of course I didn't want to be part of this industry that was not nurturing me, that was not providing me with the very, very minimum of being a professional in a place. So I think as a first step, it's important to understand where this statement is coming from and why you think you want to quit. The second point is, I think it's really, really crucial to allow yourself to take pauses as much and as often and for however long as you need it. The idea of a pause is something that I've really struggled with. And what I mean about pause is not just rest, but it's about dipping in and out of the industry. So as a freelancer, I've been a freelancer for the past 11 or 12 years, coming up to 12 years now, which is incredible. It's been my whole adult life so far. And I was saying to my close ones that I never want an office job. I never want a full-time job. I don't know how to do it. I don't think it serves my purpose and it serves my the lifestyle that I want. I want time freedom. I want, to be stimulated with different projects. I want inspirations from different sources. But at the end of the day, when I had to survive and I had zero income and I didn't have anywhere to stay, I had to get a job. Like, there was no choice at the moment, or rather there was a choice. I made the choice of taking care of myself, and I made the choice of looking after my basic needs and covering them. And it was really shocking for me to make that shift from being a freelancer like my whole adult life, to being employed and to do something completely different than what I've trained and what I've really practiced. But I just remembered the purpose of doing so. And then I reframed that as a pause, taking a pause, dipping in and out of the industry. And I think the biggest challenge in that part of the journey was that shook my identity as an artist. Then I talked to a lot of people who have done that before, and they told me that being an artist, they reminded me rather that being an artist is not about your professional occupation, but it's part of my true identity, it's part of who I am, and that will never change. I don't have to practice every day. I don't have to, I don't know, earn money or work like this every day, or I may not be able to, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I consider myself to be an artist and it's my love and it's my passion. I think that's a really important reminder, and also that part of allowing yourself to take pauses, it really triggers your creativity, because creativity needs rest. And by doing something different, you come back with fresh perspective and energy to create more and to explore more. The third point has to do with my favorite word I mentioned before. I love resilience. I take pride in being called a resilient person, and I think it's such an important quality and such an important skill to practice and to gain through the challenges, because life is full of challenges. The thing is, what I said before, how do you pick yourself up? How do you keep going when everything seems to be against you? And I think, again, this everything is against me is 100% a mindset shift that needs to happen. I recognize and understand some challenges that are kind of there for everyone, and obviously privilege is also a challenge for many, but I think that we have a choice of thinking about things that are against us or can work with us. Now, how do you build resilience? I'm definitely going to make a few episodes on that, because you have asked me before and you continue to ask me, and it's one of my favorite topics, so I will expand on that on a future episode. But for now, I want you to know that there are many organizations that I've tapped into so many times, and they've just been like literally saviors for me. And they've provided me with resources. I've done webinars, I've done seminars, I've done industry events. I've attended as much as possible to help myself gain those skills and find this support group and the community, so that I can tap into whenever I need it, and actually as a continuous practice, and not whenever I'm like really deep in my I'm quitting, I don't want to do this anymore phase. I remember that time, it was just after lockdown. I moved back to the UK and I was staying at a friend's house, and I had got COVID. So I was alone, I was isolated, and I studied mental health first aid because I thought there's a way to make this really impactful for me, and there's a way to spread that message and make it useful for other people. So I did that. I attended a lot of mental health seminars, a lot of mindfulness and well-being webinars, and then I even got some free counseling sessions from charities and organizations. One of them is DCD. I'm super grateful to them, and I'm going to mention them a lot of the times. So if you're in the UK, there are organizations that support artists, and I really encourage you to do your research and reach out to them. It's really powerful and it's so helpful, and they're there for you. Please know that. My next point, and my kind of advice or my offering to you, if you're feeling that you want to quit and you want to just not do arts anymore, is that you need to give it time. I would say many times it helps me if I think back and I just think about my passion and what makes me what makes me passionate about being in this space, and what I love about the arts, how it makes me feel, how it makes people feel when they're kind of experiencing my work, and how it feels when I'm working with my collaborator and my team. And it just brings a smile to my face. It brings me so much joy, and I cannot imagine my life without them, all of them. So for me, it's kind of an immediate shift, but I understand that sometimes and some moments in time, it's really difficult to make that shift immediately. So I think just allow yourself to be reminded of why you create, why you're an artist, what it means to you, and how you connect to all these feelings and these emotions. My last point for this video is really different from the previous ones. So say you want to quit and change industries. I want to say something for you now. I want to say that it's completely valid, it's completely normal, it's completely your choice if you want to change industry, if you're looking for a career change. And there's nothing wrong and there's nothing less important of you because you have practiced as an artist, you've been a freelancer, and now you're seeking out an evolution, or you're seeking out to continue your journey elsewhere. There are so many organizations that support that shift and that change. And actually, if you're in the UK, speak to me. I have knowledge on that, and I've witnessed a lot of people transition into a different industry. And I want to say that we have so many transferable skills as artists, skills that are so valuable, experience that is so valuable for other industries. And I want you to feel equipped, and I want you to feel empowered that you can make that shift, and it's still your choice. So that's to say, it's perfectly fine if you say you want to quit and you actually mean it. I know this episode was kind of long, but you can tell that I'm super passionate about this, and I just wanted to send this message of empowerment and encouragement, and to say to you, keep going. I know it's hard, I know it's even painful, because creation is painful. Being an artist is painful. It's wonderful too, but it comes with a lot of pain and a lot of struggle and a lot of self-doubt and a lot of difficult feelings and emotions to manage. So you're doing great. If you need someone to pick you up, find your community, find your support bubble, and stay kind and compassionate to yourself and give it time. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow the podcast. And also, if you enjoyed this episode, give me a like or rate the Spotify podcast. Thank you so much. See you next week.